Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Keepin in Orange and Blue. I'm Ryan Evan. That's Kevin Ducey, and joined for a special Friends Thanksgiving episode.
Straight off Bourbon Street of NOLA.
I think the alcohol has just left the system of Matt McCumber. Welcome.
Yeah, I needed at least a day. Trust me.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Well, Matt, at least you had a nice sober place to spend your weekend.
Yeah, very sober. Yeah, right.
Sobering.
Yeah.
Place. I forgot that. It's more important. Kev, other than Saturday's debacle in Iowa City, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. I've actually had a chance to go do some stuff for my church over the weekend, so that's pretty cool. Illinois basketball obviously took care of business, went 2-0 this weekend, even though you might not call that first half against Valpo a win. And the Bears did what they're supposed to do, which is lose so we can get a better draft pick, even if it was disgusting in the way that they lost. But I am home. I am in the friendly confines of the 217 for the rest of this week, and we'll be at the Illinois basketball game on Friday night and the football game on Saturday with my man, Mr. Ryan Evan. So we will be kicking it there, hopefully in a bowl game. So
yeah.
And Tommy DeVito helped out the Bears with that draft pick too.
Oh my goodness, touchdown. Tommy got busy. But Commanders 0-2 against the Giants.
My goodness, man. Tommy looks to be fitting in really nicely there. I think they're loving that Jersey vibe.
He got sacked 8 times and still had a day.
I think 9.
Yeah, 9.
Oh, 9. Oh my.
Yeah, so what's crazy is that stat. I don't know if you guys saw it on X. Since December of 2019,
yes,
no, the Giants haven't had a quarterback throw 3 touchdowns, including Daniel Jones, in the last 4 years. Tommy DeVito, in his second real start, got 3 touchdowns. I mean, come on now.
He's got 6 touchdowns passing already or something like that. I mean,
he's got 6. Yeah, let's see. 6 touchdowns passing and 1 rushing. He scored a touchdown in every game he's played for the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. While that may not be some sexy feat, that's not easy to do either.
Not with his offensive line. And 2, he just saved – I think he bought himself another 2 years in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Without question. Without question, he's got an opportunity. Like, he's proven he can be a capable backup in this league. And
exactly, and that's all you got to be.
Chase Daniels made a boatload of money being a backup in the National Football League.
Yep. So proud of Tommy. Let's see. And what was cool in that game as well, there was one play in the third quarter where Tommy used his legs and he got like 8 yards, except there's this one guy named Quan Martin that stopped him about a yard short of a first down.
Oh, was that Quan who came up on that tackle? I saw the run. I didn't notice that was Quan.
That was Quan, and he got up in Tommy's ear, and like Tommy slapped him in the head, like, shut up, like because he was probably like, you ain't going nowhere, like those are boys, man. That's the Illini brotherhood, and
just really cool.
Just cool to see so many guys from last year's team doing stuff in the league, man. I don't think we knew that. Like last year when they lost, what was it early? They beat up Chattanooga, I think, who was decent. And you're like, here we go again. That team is probably going to stumble against some good teams. I don't think anybody on this show probably knew there was 6-7 NFL players on that team.
Yeah.
I didn't think Tommy DeVito. I don't know. I don't know if Lundy held him back. And I mean, I thought he had some of the tools. I didn't know if he would make an NFL roster. And for him to come out and play as well as he's done, it's been pretty impressive. I think we felt that, Sidney, Quan, and Spoon were NFL guys.
And Chase probably 2-4, but I think Palcho, I think Palcho, and then I think maybe 5 of the guys. But it's been cool to see Tommy do his thing. Now, as we transition to obviously important, it's just one of those things, man. It was hard to believe, and Illinois winning majority of the game.
What was hard to believe about it? It's like written in stone. It's what Iowa does. They find a way to get that touchdown. They found a way to do it against Minnesota, but they got called back on a bad fair catch call. They did it against Michigan State with a punt return for a touchdown. It's what they do. It's who they are. They just find a way to do it.
It was hard to believe because
in the Big Ten championship game.
It was hard to believe because that first down that they just refused to acknowledge really just drove me nuts, because I didn't think officials can just steal something away so blatant. Like, it's like clearly he was a first down.
The only thing I have a thing about that is, I said that, and I was on it when I saw it. I was like, dude, that's a first down. And they said he stepped out of bounds, and we took a timeout there. Right. And there must not have been the video to overturn it. I don't get how you could say. But here's the thing: Paddock takes the sneak, and it's not there. And really, Hetty rolls to his left.
I thought he was going to die.
And it's not, all he's got to do is just dive once he gets around the tackle for a yard. Instead, he tried to outrun the defender. And I'm sorry, John, this ain't high school football, man. This ain't the MAC. You ain't outrunning that dude. Just dive, put your head forward, and get the yard. And and then Clayton Bush slips. Dude, listen, Illinois did everything it needed to do to win the game except execute on a couple plays. There's a book called Beat the Ref, and the whole story about Beat the Ref is when you are in business. Matt and I, we deal with this in the sales calls all the time. Like, there are mitigating factors that are going against you that you have to overcome. And we didn't do that. We missed a field goal by a yard. Maybe we should have went for it. Maybe we should have punted. I don't know there. We missed that third one conversion. We have a short quarterback who had numerous passes batted down at the line. Just the breaks didn't go our way. But what we did see is a team put up a ton of fight. We ran the ball better than expected with virtually no running backs. I mean, we have Reggie Love, who was great. Reggie Love ran his ass off, dude. He played really, really hard on Saturday. Yeah. Paddock made some plays. We just needed to make some special plays. And I know people say drops or whatever, and Casey Washington. that would have been a really tough catch, dude. Really tough catch. And yes, he dropped it. Has he made that play before? Yes. But we are not at the place in this program, in our situation, to go up against the top 10 defense in the nation. And I'd argue it's probably top 5, and have those you got to make that catch to win that game. You got to have that special play to win that game. And we didn't. And it's okay. We're 5-6. The goal for the season all along, unless you're an idiot like me who predicted 10-2, was to get to back-to-back bowl games. It's really, really stupid of me looking back at 10-2 when you start the show off talking about 6-7 guys on NFL rosters that are gone. There's so much discontinuity in the secondary that Caleb Patterson and Solo Turner are in there making plays. We haven't seen those guys all season. So now it's all changed. Let's get to a bowl game, and it's still there.
Yep.
You got a home game on Saturday, 2:30, Big Ten Network.
Senior day.
Well, yeah, you got to come do it, man. And I'm begging, I'm pleading for anybody that's listening and watching the show. Get your butt over there. Come tailgate with Ryan and I before the game, and get your butt in Memorial Stadium on Saturday.
Matt, I know you were flight and with margarita in hand. You've since been able to enjoy the game a couple different avenues. And I want to make it clear before I delve into anything else is that I'm not disappointed with the team. Like, I think they made us proud. They played well. They could have won. I think they were the better team, to be honest with you. It doesn't always work out that way, though. But especially being so depleted in the secondary, and basically, as Brett Bielema said today, Matt, 4 running backs out with season-ending injuries he'd never even seen before in his 15 years. So It's just so depleted and beat up. What was your take on, what happened in Iowa City and what the team's looking forward to and they have ahead for them this week?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Ryan said too. It's exactly what Iowa does week in and week out. They always find a way. They play the field position game better than anybody in the country. And again, Illinois played well enough to win and probably should have won. Didn't have some things go their way, as we discussed. But it's so frustrating because it rears its ugly head again when these games like the Iowa game and I'm trying to think of the game earlier in the season versus Wisconsin. I mean, those are two wins right there that are just ready for the taking. Can't get it done, and it's a team trying to find a way of figuring out how to win. And there's a difference between losing these type of games and then at the same time finding a way to win and then propelling them to win again the next week and win again the next week. Winning is very hard, especially in the Big Ten, in any Power 5 conference. And when you got a lot of guys in and out of a lineup, like you mentioned, 4 running backs. I mean, luckily Reggie Love was able to run, and like Kev said, he ran his ass off. But I don't know who else you put back there if he can't go. And
it looks like Nick Fidonzo got a carry or so.
Yeah, I think he did get one.
He ran hard on that one. He could have rolled off and maybe a couple more yards, I thought.
But
yeah, and it looks like Brett Bielema today, Matt said in the press conference that Aiden Lawfrey could possibly still play. I guess he didn't have surgery yet.
Okay.
So I guess it wasn't that as bad as they thought, or maybe they were thinking, hey, we can rest him now for the rest of the year if we don't. But I think they see they need him, and he's probably telling the staff, like, look, I'm not 100%, but if I can go, and I'd like to play, So I think that's probably what we're looking at.
Yeah, but my whole point is Iowa has got the guys. They know how to win. Illinois is still trying to figure that out. There is an art to winning and winning those close games. And, Illinois is trying to get over the hump with that. But, I was proud of the fight in the team. I mean, you go on the road, tough environment, top 8 defense in the country, and they battled the entire day. Didn't come out in their favor. But, you're happy with the progress of the team. And, hopefully I'm really looking forward to this Saturday because there is a lot to play for. In-state recruits, bragging rights. Northwestern's playing. I mean, the new interim tag has been lifted. They've been unbelievable for what they went through. And so I give them a lot of credit. I might not like to, but I will. And so, like you said, senior day, 26 seniors, I want to say.
24.
24. Okay. So a lot to play for, bowl game especially. And that extra month of practice is a big deal too.
Yep.
I don't care what you say.
And Kevin, as we transition into the Northwestern game, it sounds like with the 24 seniors, I think 18 are maybe walking for the second time, I think. Or so.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. So there's still some guys too to make some decisions. Isaiah Williams, Keith Randolph, I think Ezekiel Holmes. We know Johnny Newton's not coming back. So, why would you at this point when you're a top 5, top 10 pick? But there's multiple reasons and things to celebrate, and I think it'd be fun for us to each talk about maybe one of the seniors departing that we're going to miss and reasons why we appreciate them. And I think that's going to be a way we can, talk about this team and celebrate them. I'm looking forward to being there. So obviously it's a battle for the hat that Illinois has won 2 years in a row, and they're looking to make it 3, and a bowl game's at stake. So it's going to be a fun game and a lot at stake for Illinois. And I think that I'm going to speak on Casey Washington for me. So Casey Washington,
you son of a bitch, you took mine.
Hey! I'll back off.
Go ahead.
Maybe you can speak better of him than me. Go for it.
No, you take the blonde bandit. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not about this. We didn't talk about it beforehand, but
I did not know. It's fun. Hey, that's what makes live podcasting fun. Go ahead.
Okay. Because I can talk about whichever one I want, but I'll talk about Washington. So if we remember too, he was thrust in 2019 on that Red Box Bowl season. A freshman, skinny, but it was like, oh, this dude's sure-handed, So I remember him coming in and having like a huge catch, a diving catch against Wisconsin in that game that Illinois beat number 5 Wisconsin when James McCourt kicked the game-winning field goal. and you've seen him come in. I think they were a 4-win team before that. So you got a guy like Casey Washington coming from Texas. He's looking to play in his 3rd bowl game. He's leaving a legacy at Illinois.
Yeah.
A dude who came in with the program winning 4 games and already played in 2, looking to cement that a 3rd one and leave on a higher note than when he came in. And I know he's bound, determined for that. Think about how amazing he's been this year, with big catch after big catch, Toledo, Maryland. I think people won't forget Casey Washington. I know I won't. I think he's a heck of a young man. I've seen all his interviews, and I actually talked to him one time, I think in the 2021 season. They were out catching balls on the sideline, and I was standing there. Just an awesome, awesome young man. As Brett Bielema said, his parents raised him right. I will miss him. I mean, he's been a mainstay in that wide receiver room for 4 or 5 years now. And you don't want to take guys like this for granted. That's a reason to come to Memorial Stadium Saturday, to see guys like Casey Washington and pay your respects to them, and tell them that you're grateful for them, and that you're thankful that they came to spend their time at Illinois. Kev, go ahead.
Yeah, I joked around. You took mine. I mean, Casey was the first guy I thought of. And you said it all right. I mean, the way that he blocks is one thing I think that gets, underappreciated from some fans. I'm going to take a little bit of a different one here, and it's kind of interesting because it's not been the best season for the guy. But the fact that he stepped up and he flat out played really well, especially in the second half on Saturday when you could have moped and hung your head, and he was a team captain. I'm going to talk about Tariq Barnes. I think Tariq Barnes has, just because of the way he's rebounded, right? Some guys came in, and he's kind of taken a backseat to Odeluga and Rosiak this year, and he was a guy who was supposed to be a senior leader, and he didn't have the best of year. And what is he doing in there in that Iowa game? He's out there thumping guys. He's playing hard. He's being a great teammate when it could have been real easy just to say mope around. Oh, screw this, man, I'm done. I just really think that Tariq Barnes has been, it just really impressed me. I don't know that I would have said that before Saturday because it hasn't been the best season for him. And you really can't judge a guy's character when you're not really seeing him on the field. We're not in the locker room. We're not talking to these guys outside of the football facilities. But Tariq Barnes, man, I think the guy played his tail off on Saturday, and I look forward for him to have a huge, big game on Saturday and take us to a bowl game.
Well said. All right, Maddie, you're up.
Well, I think a lot to be said about, a Julian Pearl on the offensive line or a Jordan Slaughter. Yeah. I think those guys deserve some credit there because they had to work their way up and really learn the position of offensive line at the Big Ten level. And at the beginning, it wasn't maybe the prettiest, but they've hung in there and they've been very reliable. So I'm going to give them a lot of credit for that. And, Pearl's a local guy. So shout out Danville, but, and then it might be a little just cliche now, but, just peace of mind, but John Paddock too, being able to come off the bench and do what he's done in the last couple games has been pretty remarkable. I mean, the guy, not that he didn't have the talent or the ability to go in and quarterback the team, but when his number was called, he was ready. And what he has meant for the team, you can see, he's fiery out there, and he's been a leader since the moment he got behind center. So I give him a lot of credit. Illinois has 2 wins because of him. Where would they be without him? Maybe a 3-win team. So I know it's more than one guy, but give him a lot of credit for hanging in there, keeping the faith, and being ready when his number was called.
And don't get me wrong, there's honorable mentions rooms in here. Let me tell you, there's no honorable mention with Isaiah Williams, and I think we could all go over. We could go over our favorite Isaiah Williams moment for 20 minutes here. If the show was an hour and a half, we would. But I can tell you this: Isaiah Williams. I've looked at the numbers. He's got 14 more catches than the next closest guy. He's only less than 100 yards behind Marvin Harrison in yards, and he's more than 260 above the next. There's no way, in my opinion, he's not going to be first team All Big Ten.
I know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if he's not first team Big Ten, I mean the fix is in something.
Yeah, he's already at 998 yards. There's only one other guy above 1,000. That's Marvin Harrison, who's at like 1090. Daniel Jackson's the next closest receiver at Minnesota with 710 yards, and no one has 64 catches. I think 64 is the most, and then 76 is where Isaiah is. The man deserves to be first team All Big Ten. That, to me, is a beautiful farewell to Illini fans. I know he can come back one more year, and I know the staff's going to try. But I've been told, he just wants to move on with the next phase of his life. This is his 5th year at Illinois, and I think he's ready to move on. And I think he has a chance to play at the next level. And one thing, Kevin, and I'll let you take over from here on this, Brett Bielema shows you just how much he loves and cares about these players. He was basically in tears today talking about senior day.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could tell the way he starts off with the recruiting day and the way he talks about the players in depth in each one of them. I do want to shout out to one of our fans, my guy, SDR. I'm going to crap on you a little bit, my man. You need to get yourself a Miller Lite. You need to get yourself a beer or something and calm down real quick. He's chiming in the chat here. All right, let's talk about some things that he said. Illinois needed a veteran running back. Why? We had Reggie Love, who's a senior. We had Josh McCray, who was a junior. You had 2 redshirt freshmen and Jordan Anderson and Aiden Lawfrey were coming in. You had a 4-star running back in Caden Fagan. I don't understand why you needed another head in the running back room. Number 2, Barry Lunny has been a disappointment. Really? It's the 3rd best offense in the Big Ten. 3rd best offense in the Big Ten. And how have they done that with the 3rd best offense in the Big Ten? With a brand new quarterback. By the way, their other quarterback, we already talked about it. He's starting in the NFL now. Their star running back, he's gone. So really, Barry Lunny's been – yes, I was frustrated with him at the beginning of the year, but I think that Barry Lunny's offense has played really well. Johnny Newton's the only guy who's lived up to expectations. Really? Did you expect 80 catches and 1,000 yards from Isaiah Williams this year?
Yeah.
I sure as heck didn't. Did you expect Dylan Rosiak to be the player that he is all of a sudden? I sure as heck – I thought he was going to be good. I didn't think he was be this damn good. So I think, did I expect – Clayton Bush slipped and fell, but he played really well. There's been a lot of guys that have stepped up and played well. Julian Pearl's played great. Hunter Whiteneck's come in. The offensive line is solidified. So I think there's a lot of things that we need to look at overall with this team and say, yeah, has it gone the way that we expected after an 8-win season last year? No. But the fact is we got a lot of heads in the NFL. We got a lot of leadership in the NFL. And the biggest challenge right now, and I know there's talk about Aaron Henry as a defensive coordinator, and I get that, and it hurts my soul because I love Aaron as a man. But good Lord, guys, the secondary has been so banged up. We have so many freshmen and so many new guys out there trying to find a guy to step up and do something here. It's just nuts.
Mac Resitich, who is like basically a walk-on type last offer, he's starting at strong safety, with a guy who is a converted wide receiver in Miles Scott. Okay. So
yeah.
I just
and the injury bug has hit this. The injury bug has hit this team hard. Like people don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
think about the running back room in the defensive backfield. It's like 2 people.
Zach Toby went out Saturday. He was like their fourth string defensive back who has to start now. Strain's been in and out with injuries. Taz Nicholson's been your go-to guy, but you still are in their 4th, I think 5th, and even 6th defensive backs. Because these guys are hurt and getting banged up and concussions and all these things. So that you think about and no matter what anybody says, Aaron Henry's going to get another season, even if Illinois, their total points, it looks like they're 12th in the Big Ten right now, which I think that'll change after Saturday. And I see a lot of negativity. Like Illini 1990 said, I'll put it on here. I don't care. I disagree with it, but it's fine if people believe that. A lot of people have said this to me, Kevin. They think that any Illinois fans that think that we won't lose Saturday is living in disbelief. Classic setup for a letdown. We've seen this before. Reality really hurts. I think they're thinking way too much about what happened in 2019 when the team had already qualified for a bowl game.
Let's talk about 2014. Let's talk about 2014. Yeah. When we went up there and took their freaking soul, beat them 47-33. My man Riley 247 yards in the air, 147 yards. I'm not living in disbelief. We're going to beat their ass on Saturday.
Yeah, and I can tell you this: if anybody thinks this team doesn't want to play another game, they do. I don't think anybody on that team, any senior leaving, or even if things haven't gone their way, wants to leave their final game losing to Northwestern. I don't think one of those players wants that.
No, nobody would.
Yeah, so to think that Northwestern wants this, Northwestern's playing for the hat. Illinois is playing to extend their season and to make sure that their final moment at home as a Illini is not negative. I think there's a lot more to be said.
I mean, you know how many times you go back-to-back bowl games at Illinois? It doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's a chance to leave a legacy for certain players.
Yeah. You know,
and the guys like Tom Paddock who bleed orange and blue, right? Who's bled orange
absolutely.
and blue. Blood orange
exactly.
and blue.
Like I think that's something it's to be said. That's a good point, Kevin, is that John Paddock knows this is his final chance to play at Memorial Stadium where his uncle, his grandpa played. You know, that's a big deal.
Great grandpa.
I think, there's a lot to be said, and I think there's a lot to play for the team. So, and that's okay that people think differently. There's a lot of negativity, and maybe they'll say it's realism, but I don't believe that's realism. I mean, I think just because a team a few years ago had that happen, I guess we'll just forget the last 2 years, right? I mean, 2021 when the team was 4-7, right? They could have just laid down, right? Yeah. Why did the team 2 years ago have to show up and beat up on Northwestern? They didn't need to.
And they beat the dog piss out of them, and we beat the dog piss out of them last year. Sidney Brown outscored Northwestern last year, so I don't listen. It's going to be a good game. I mean, the Northwestern's going to come in prepared. They're going to come in ready to fight. They're going to want to win this game for sure. They're going to want to keep Illinois from going to a bowl game, but I think Illinois is a better team. I think it's flat out is Northwestern's one of the second worst offense in the Big Ten. Illinois is the third best. Illinois is going to have to find a way to score, and I think we're going to have to put some pressure on the quarterback and and the same thing. We're going to have to control the run game. I think Illinois did a little bit better job against Iowa, and then we had one play slip on us. But listen, we're not playing Iowa's defense. We're playing a good defense. But we're not playing Iowa's defense.
Yeah, there's no comparison. Yeah, they're a good defense, but they're not great. They're not. But I've watched the Purdue Northwestern game a few times, and some of these other games, and literally
they're about Wisconsin, Maryland defensive wise. So I mean, it's
Purdue literally was in the red zone like 6 times, and they scored once of one of those times. You know, they wouldn't kick field goals. They fumbled one. They threw a pick, and they also had a backup quarterback that's not even anything close to John Paddock. So I'm just saying, I think Illinois is going to come out on top. We'll get to that. Prediction wise, I guess, Matt, your thoughts on that this week? We'll go ahead and make our picks for the Northwestern Illinois game, and then we'll move on to we'll talk a little Illini hoops before we get to Fade the Deuce. What do you think? What do you think happens this weekend? The line's, I think, 4 Illinois favorite by 4 points.
5.5.
5.5. Yeah.
Wow, it's went up from 4. It was 4 yesterday.
Yeah. I think Northwestern keeps it close first half. I think it's going to be the slow type of game. Good Northwestern defense. I think we try to get our footing, kind of get over the loss at Iowa type deal. But I am going to take the Illini here. I'm going to say 24-13.
Okay.
And
sorry, Matt. My bad.
Oh, no problem. But yeah, I think John Paddock goes out a winner here. And I just think this team is going to have a refuse to lose attitude. Like we've talked about this whole show, they've got a lot to play for. Let's go and bring it. Let's, show up. Let's keep playing, and let's extend our season. So yeah, I'm taking Illinois 24-13.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. This is not a better team than Illinois. Let's look at some things that happened last week. Yeah, they beat Purdue. Ooh, wow, they beat Purdue. Purdue rushed for 300 yards. Purdue outgained them 443 to 329. Purdue had 21 first downs to 12. I mean, Northwestern had 99 yards rushing on the ground, 2.9 yards per attempt. I didn't watch the game, Ryan. You said you did. Obviously, I was tied up with some church. 4 turnovers to 1. So Northwestern got the turnover fairy game. I've been asking for it.
In the red zone, they just literally went like this to themselves all game.
Yeah, we haven't had the turnover game all year. I mean, we haven't had the game where we have multiple picks and we won the turnover battle 4-1. When do we get to do that? And if we do that, we're going to win this game 35-14. Mm-hmm. Purdue ran the ball 303 yards on them. I don't think we're going to be able to do that with Reggie Love necessarily, and no additional backups running the ball. But Reggie Love's averaging 5 yards a carry on the season. Their leading running back average is 3.9. We have a better quarterback. We have a better running back. We have better receivers. We've got a better player on defense than they do. We got the best player on the field, number 4. Mm-hmm. We're going to be at home, and then we got the one key factor here. I'm kidding about this key factor. It's a joke, guys. Is that this will be my 3rd consecutive Northwestern game. I'm making a tradition in my household that I am going to go to every Illinois Northwestern game I can for the foreseeable future. Gives me a chance to come home, see my family for Thanksgiving.
Love it.
And
Love it.
We're 2-0. We're 2-0 in the last 2. I'll be in attendance. I'm going to be really loud. I'm going to be getting those dudes hype as much as I can because I know our shitty-ass fan base won't show up.
Hey, and you know what? Hey, shameless plug though. Anybody got any Colonnade Club or 77 Club tickets to holler at us? We'd like to. We'd like to. We'll mingle. We'll talk. We'll sign one of your Keepin' Orange and Blue shirts. Yeah, I'd
love to take my daughters to the game, but I'm sorry, 42 degrees at kickoff and 35 by the end of the game ain't gonna really happen with 7 and 10-year-olds. So they'll get their experience of Illinois basketball Friday night.
And if you don't give us those tickets, you're going to see me and Kev with our shirt off in the horseshoe screaming. So you don't.
I'm not going to be in the horseshoe. I'm being East Main, dog. West Main. Excuse me, West Main. I'll be in the West Main for sure.
Okay, Kev. Your prediction? Did you give a score prediction? Sorry.
I love Matt's 20. I'm going to say 27-14, something similar.
Okay.
I think Illinois. Like, there's been so many – how close were we to getting a pick 6 against Deacon Hill last week?
James
Croots
literally like this right through his hand.
And they completed the pass. Taz, there was balls thrown behind guys. Like, one of these days that bounce, that break's going to go our way, and I see it happening on Senior Day on Saturday.
So it looks like the line is 47.5. They got it as a high-scoring game. They got it. I guess they think Illinois is going to win like something like 28. 27, 24, something like that, maybe. I think
somewhere around there.
Yeah, 28. Yeah. Anyway, I think
26, 21, 27, 21 probably is what the line's looking like.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 28-17. I think Illinois is definitely going to be able to move the ball. Like I said, I watched that Purdue game, and it was almost crazy. I wonder if they put that statistic up about the percentages of a team winning based on those stats. You know how Illinois, I guess, was it against FAU, right? They only won by 6, but like they dominated the game. I guarantee you Purdue would be up there. I don't see – and that was with a backup who hadn't even played all year. So I like Illinois on this one. I think it's not going to be like snowy or rainy, so they should be able to throw the ball. Yes, it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be like 10 degrees. I mean, 38 degrees, 40 degrees is still you can throw the ball around. So I got 28-17. I know there's a lot of people who don't believe in it, but I think this team wants to play another game. So,
yep.
Now, last night, Illinois, after beating up on Valpo in the second half, took on a Southern team who, by the way, even though their record was 1-2, they had beaten UNLV earlier in the year at UNLV. So and they beat them up by 14. So this isn't a team you can sleep on. So Illinois, I think Arizona beat them by like 35, but Arizona is so good. Boswell is just killing it. I think
their offense is great.
That dude's shooting like 60% from deep, Boswell. So that was no surprise. And then Western Illinois clipped them at home, who is the opponent Friday. So you just couldn't really take them for granted. They're super athletic. They just don't have much in the post. So what Illinois ended up winning the game 88, I think it was 88-60, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
88-60. And then what we got to see in that first half from Dane Danger was as Stephen Bardo calls him, the dancing Russian bear, He's just a big guy with nimble feet in the post who can do a lot of things, you're not expecting. It was good to see him get those minutes, because Coleman Hawkins is going to be at least sitting out one more game. I think he'll be resting until they play Rutgers December 2nd. But then to me, fingers crossed for Nicolo Moretti, because dude was looking – that guy was looking – as Tommy DeVito would say,
yes,
looking money. He was looking, in fuego, but he hurt his foot. and hope. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Matt, Kev, maybe you know that he wasn't on crutches. He was just in a walking boot right after. That's still kind of hard to decipher.
It's usually just precautionary more than anything. They like to let the swelling get down. And then first thing today, he probably went straight to the trainer. They got some ice on it, probably did some ultrasound, got right back in that boot, and they're just going to take it day by day. I would say we'd know more here in the next 4 or 5 days. But it depends on the sprain too, if it's high versus low, all that stuff. So
but he was looking very good. It was like, I know Ty Rodgers tries, and that's okay. Ty Rodgers turned the ball over literally his first 2 possessions trying to like initiate some stuff. And it's just not natural to him.
Yeah.
But, the whole thing about Moretti needing weight, to me, I don't really know if that's going to be the case for him to play a good chunk of minutes when he's able to handle the ball and set guys up. Like, it's a simple fast break looks beautiful when the guy taking the ball down the court will actually wait till he gets to the free throw line to pass it off to his trailing partner. We haven't always seen that. There's been a lot of turnovers. There was way too many turnovers. Kev, what was your take on the game? Even though I thought Terrence Shannon looked like an All-American.
I think it took a while for Illinois to figure out what the key to win this game was, and the key to win this game for Illinois was to get stops on defense. And I shouldn't say to win this game, but to win this game handily. We were fiddle farting around with them. It was 28-24, and then the next thing you know, it's 45-24. They hit a 3 late at the half to make it 45-27, but we went on that 17-0 run, and a lot of that was Terrence Shannon. I mean, I think he had 12 or 15 of those 17 points. But the reason why we were able to do that is because we got stops, we forced turnovers, and we were able to get up and down the floor. Now, Moretti did absolutely change the dynamic of that first half because he was able to actually facilitate the offense with Southern, who really wants to play in passing lanes. And that's what Southern does. Southern probably is a top 15, top 20 in the nation in turnovers forced. That's the way that they want to play. But once Illinois realized that, hey, listen, we get stops, we force them into tough shots, we get rebounds. My goodness, we killed the glass. We got 110 rebounds the last 2 games, by the way. That was the way we were able to push the ball and run. Now, Moretti really showed us something. It was nice to see Guerriero have a good game. This is what this team is going to be, and I think Illinois fans need to have a little pays with it. Other than Terrence Shannon putting the ball in the bucket, there's going to be a different guy every night. It's going to be the second or third leading scorer. And Damas didn't really score all that much. So Guerrier chipped in with 10, Dane with 12. Luke Goody hit 3 threes. I mean, he's got 11 in his last 3 games. Just took a little bit of while for them to find their legs, but that's what this team's going to be all year. And Harmon had 9. I was really frustrated with Harmon at point game, but he really good second half. They did what they had to do. I know some people are frustrated that we're not ranked. I don't think we deserve to be ranked. You're in the bottom half you're in the bottom quartile of the top 25 and you lose. Some teams are going to move in above you. And now if guys were actually rating teams on who they think is where, I mean, do people really think that JMU is better than Illinois? I don't think they think that. But we got a week here where kind of like you got to figure out some things. Hopefully you get healthy. Hopefully Terrence is all right. He banged up his hand. Hopefully Coleman is all right. I mean, that's one thing that we're missing a little bit. We handle business without him. Listen, the last 3 halves of basketball were really good. The first half against Valpo was dog shit. And I wonder, Matt, I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
My thought process, a lot of people said Brad Underwood come in there just absolutely steaming, mad, yelling, breaking stuff. Or did he walk in there and not say a word? I mean, have you seen both?
I've seen both, but I would say I think with I know we got a lot of new pieces, but we have older guys that are more the focal point of our offense, like Coleman and Terrence Shannon Jr. With a team like that, you walk in and you don't have to say much. You shouldn't have to say much. If you're screaming and paint's coming off the wall, it's a problem. You trust your guys, you trust your seniors to go out and do a job, which they did in the second half and got the job done. But I think Underwood's done a really good job of not being a maniac on the sidelines. People always watch his demeanor and stuff. You'll watch him now. I mean, he might be pissed off, but he'll walk to the end of the bench, count down a couple seconds and then come back. And it's not that fiery Brad Underwood we maybe saw in year 1 or 2 because he couldn't trust anybody. He was trying to set the tone to build a program. Now he's got the program built. He doesn't have to be that guy that's a maniac. So it's a lot of who you got on your team and can you trust your players? And I think he can. So I think that's what happened. Obviously, I wasn't in there, but that's just my 2 cents.
But you have seen both, though. You've seen it where coach just basically is like,
oh yeah,
out, guys. Nonsense.
Absolutely. There's Gatorade coolers being thrown across the room. There's the seats that we got set up. There's I've seen Bruce Weber break a clipboard or two. I've seen the whiteboard been punched through, and not saying him, but just in general, yes, I've seen it all.
I was about to say Bruce.
Okay. No,
Bruce is fiery. Bruce is fiery. Like, don't.
Yeah, he is. We used to have four clipboards on the bench for him because they were wooden, and he could break those pretty easily. And then we got smart and we started getting like the hard plastic ones, and he couldn't break those as much.
He went through his phases now because before you got him at Kansas State, he had that couple years with Dimitri McCamey and Mike Davis where he tried to like the cold shoulder or the I'm not going to look at you, or, I remember one time he yelled at Mike Davis so loud. I was at the top of C-section. I swear this was senior day. It was either 09 or 10. And they ended up beating Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament first round, like literally the very next game. But they lost to him on senior. And I was at the very top of C-section. And Mike Davis, I guess, didn't box out or something on a rebound. And I heard on the second, at the next pause, he goes, Mike Davis.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you promised you'd block out. I was just like, what? I'm
gonna harken back to Matt's exposure to the best team in Illinois history from an overall performance standpoint. As I bet you when you would walk into that locker room, say at halftime at Purdue, I think we might have been trailing at Purdue. I was at that game. I think it was or Michigan in Ann Arbor when D basically took the game over with those 3 steals in the second half. I would venture to guess Bruce didn't have to say much to those guys.
Didn't have to say anything at all.
Right.
And
it was those guys talking to each other, right?
Exactly. And we would always meet outside the locker room before going in, and that was the time for the players to talk amongst themselves and figure it out if shit was going sideways. And so we'd give them that 3-4 minutes by themselves. And some of the time we could hear them screaming in there while we're standing right outside, kind of game planning, hey, what do we need to do better for the second half? And then let's go talk to our team about it. And then we'd walk in and they'd be eating each other, not faces per se, but, just on one another, like, hey, we got to do this better. And I would say probably 90% of the time, everything that they were talking about, were talking about outside. They knew. So that's the best case scenario, obviously.
And that's why 2 of those guys are still coaching. And that's why one of those guys was an NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just had that ability to do that amongst themselves. One guy was an NBA All-Star. The other guy spent a decade in the league, even though he was too short to play his position. And 2 guys are coaches. And James Augustine's just too cool to be around basketball.
Yeah. Right.
Were you on the staff when the first year or 2 that he was there, or after that at Kansas State?
I was there. I got there the second year. So I missed the first year when he had Frank Martin's players, but they weren't.
And I heard there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes on that,
and
Marcus Foster.
Yeah.
Well, that was
right?
my first year there. We recruited him there and came, and
but I heard that I forget who that one little
it was Angel Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez. It was about money. He was like, well, I'm leaving. I get paid, right? And Bruce is like, excuse me?
Let's just say there was a reason he went to the University of Miami and didn't stick around in Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay. I just wanted to hear that out loud because I had heard that under the table. And Bruce is just like, I don't deal with this. Excuse me? It's like, I got Bill Cole, baby. Fuck Rob. I don't care about Robbie Hummel. I ain't paying nobody.
Honestly, I think that Brad Underwood's probably got a little bit of more like Bruce in that regard in his style. And I think that Roy Williams still probably wants to coach college basketball. I think the NIL stuff is. I think Jim Boeheim probably still wants to coach college basketball. I think the NIL stuff.
Coach K would still be there.
Yeah, I think those guys they're just done with this nonsense, and it's going to take a new type of leader to handle it.
Yes, and I'm very surprised that Izzo is still coaching, but
you can tell he's getting to his. You can tell he's getting to his wits' end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that was just some fun things. I had always wondered about that little Hernandez thing. So, that's good. That's good to know it's true. All right. So now with that said, Western Illinois, then they got Rutgers, big game with Rutgers.
December is a monster. December is a monster of a schedule for Illinois. FAU, Rutgers, Missouri, Tennessee, a really good Colgate team. So December is going to be – December's got some games for Illinois, and we're a month from now, a little over a month from now, we're really going to know where this team is, and it's going to be really interesting.
A Missouri team that lost at home to 0-5 Jackson State, I have to throw in there. Jackson State beat them on a buzzer beater last night.
The best 0-5 team in the country because they were the only 0-5 team in the country.
Exactly. I don't know if you knew that or not, Kevin. I knew you were traveling.
Oh, I did.
Dennis Gates did make that comment, by the way.
He said the best.
And somehow they got the number 2 recruiting class in the country.
Yeah, figure that.
Gosh. All right. Well, so with that said, it's time to move on to the fade the deuce part, and we're going to do that rapid fire. I think you don't want to be on here till 10:30, but we're going to do it accordingly.
Well, we can't talk about your boy being 4-1 and 1-0 in his locks last week. I mean, we can mention that.
We could mention
Matt
that.
Matt, what were you? Were you 4-1 and then 0-1 was your lock, right?
I think I didn't even know because I was. I know I got.
Matt.
I know I got Kansas right. I missed on Iowa. I took Iowa.
Did you take Iowa? I thought you took Illinois.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
So we're gonna, with this Thanksgiving week, it looks like the Chiefs are trying to blow it at home to the Eagles. Just want to mention that.
Not DVR
don't worry. Anywho, it's not over yet. So we're gonna start off with Civil War up in Eugene with Oregon State and Oregon, and this one is still means something because if Oregon State beats Oregon, I think they're going to go to the Pac-12 championship game because they each have. I think this will be the second loss. They each have 2 losses if Oregon State beats Oregon in the Pac-12, and they're going to have the tiebreaker head-to-head. I'm pretty sure that's it, unless you guys can correct me.
Oregon State's got 3 losses in conference. So
they have 3 losses in conference. I thought they had 2. All right. Well, I don't think Oregon's just guaranteed to go though if they lose, are they?
Yeah, Arizona is 6-2.
Yeah, that's
so. There is a very slim outside chance that they could, but I don't know who would hold the tiebreaker there. But
okay, yeah, they didn't play each other this year.
No, they didn't.
And Arizona's got a tough one against Arizona State.
No, they didn't play. So how's the tiebreaker?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
So Pac-12 smart, they'll put Oregon in it. Or maybe if they're Pac-12 smart, they put Arizona in it so Washington can go to the
because let's not sit here and shit on Arizona. They're going to be a top 14, 15
Hey, let's just start. Give me the microphone. Oregon minus 13.5. They're going to cover this game in the Civil War. I don't care. This is in Eugene, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
You got the Heisman front runner currently. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it should be Jaden Daniels. I don't care what the record is. Putting up ridiculous numbers. You got the Heisman favorite right now from a Vegas betting odds standpoint in Bo Nix. You got that explosive offense. You got Eugene. It's a big number to give in a rivalry game. I like the Ducks.
And I'm going to take the Beavers here because of what happened last week against Washington. I think it would be kind of the same type of game here. And what did I say? I said put half a mortgage on the under in that game. And
that was my lock.
There you go. And it was 22-20, and the over-under was 63. So it didn't even come close. I like Oregon. I think 13.5 is way too many here. I like Oregon State to keep it close. Oregon wins by 10-13. But I think Oregon State with Dennis Martinez, the running back, he is able to control the game, the ground game. They're going to run it. They're going to try to keep the ball out of Bo Nix's hands. I'm going because they proved to me last week they could do it versus Washington. Give me the Beavers plus 13.5.
Matt, of course, you would take the Beavers.
Hey,
You like Beaver.
Man, can't
help
resist a good Beaver. Here we go.
chopping wood, baby.
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State is they're in such shambles. They fire Zach Arnett. There's a lot of controversy there because he got rid of a lot of staff from Mike Leach and made a lot of people unhappy. He decided he wanted to stick with his guys. It just hasn't worked out. And you got Ole Miss, who's looking to stay in a New Year's Six bowl.
Well, yeah.
Which it's not bad. They're like the Penn State of the SEC. They're never going to really beat the top two, but they're always right there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, I'd be okay if Illinois was like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're cool with a bowl game. 11-point favorite. Mississippi State actually snuck in there and beat them last year. Do you think the Egg Bowl is going to be a little bit different this year, Matt?
I think it'll be a lot different. Like the same reason Kev said for Oregon and their offense. I think Mississippi State is in disarray. I don't think they're a very good football team. I know this is in Starkville. Yes, they have a good defense. I'll give them that at times, but they're coming in losers of 3 straight in the SEC. They played a non-con opponent last week and won, I think, 41-20. So they did get a win under the belt, but 3 straight SEC losses. I think Ole Miss runs roughshed over them here. I'm thinking like probably 45-20 here. Give me the Rebs on the road in Starkville to keep in a New York Six bowl.
All right, I wanted to be different than Matt, and I know on our text thread I said Mississippi State. They're dog shit. I mean, they beat Southern Miss by 20. Yeah, they beat Mississippi. They beat Southern Miss last week by 21. Southern Miss is 3-8. Like that's a bad football team. Kentucky came in there and beat Mississippi State 24-3. I can't do it. 11 points seem too much for a home team in the Egg Bowl, but Mississippi State's doing nothing but laying eggs. Give me Ole Miss.
Are you flipping?
I'm flipping. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like
he was thinking about this all day. He's like, Mississippi.
Hey, like guys, this is a little bit rushed for all of us. So I can't do it.
He was like travel, like excitement to see family. He's like, I freaking picked Mississippi State. He's like, oh, all right. So we're moving on, up to the east side, and we're going to Louisville, Kentucky. So
the Governor's Cup.
The Governor's Cup. We got a Louisville team that's looking to stay in that mix. Can you believe it? What a job.
Top 9 in the standings.
Yeah, Jeff Brom's got his boys they're that team waiting if a bunch of people mess up or Louisville's going to sneak in there,
And they're playing for the ACC championship game the following week without Jordan Travis.
Yep. Yeah, without Travis, they could end up taking that 4th spot somehow. If there's a bunch of things that need to happen, but crazier things have happened. Now, Kentucky, on the other hand, has a big problem because the fans are turning on Stoops. Things are ugly. They just lost at South Carolina, who was a 4-win team. I think they've got 6 Kentucky, right? They're bowl eligible. Yep. Yeah, but they were ranked in 5-1 or something, and then they got beat up by Georgia, and it just went downhill ever since. So, Kev, this is a rivalry game. Do you think Kentucky can maybe sneak in here and get inside that 7-point number to a Louisville team that's probably looking ahead to the ACC title game?
I do. And I think this is just flat out, I believe in the SEC more than I believe in the ACC. I believe that Kentucky, if they were in the ACC, they'd probably be an 8-3 football team. And this is too many points here. I hate that it's at Louisville, but I'm going to take the number here. Give me the Wildcats to stay within, there's something like a 28-24 ball game. I think Louisville probably wins it. I do think Louisville has a little bit of look ahead here. Kentucky isn't playing that well. This is Kentucky Super Bowl, like my guy SDR chimed in there. Give me Kentucky to stay within the number here, but I think Louisville wins.
And I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the Cardinals here at home. I like this because I don't get the hook. So I think close game in the first half, and then I think Louisville pulls away second half. I think Kentucky's in a little bit of disarray as well, especially, a lot of chirping. There was even a report today saying that Stoops was going to be fired already. I don't think that's happened, but I think that they're already in a bowl game. If they maybe had 5 wins, I would maybe look at Kentucky, but give me Louisville. They're top 9 in the standings, and with an outside chance, especially they see blood in the water with Travis out now. You never know what could happen. I think they're motivated, and they're at home. So give me Louisville Cardinals -7.
And the next game doesn't even. I got to be honest. If you're an Auburn fan, like, where do you go from here? I mean, okay, so you go from losing at home by 17 to New Mexico State.
Jerry Kittle.
Jerry Kittle's got them boys playing. 17 at home. Goodness gracious, Auburn. They take so much pride in their program, and then what do you get to next week? You get Nick Saban's boys looking to get in that college football playoff, send a message before they take on Georgia, right, in the SEC title game.
That's correct.
So There's a lot of reason for them to be angry and bitter. And let me tell you something. No way in hell is Auburn going to do anything about it. So I don't care where the game was played. I don't care if it's played in Auburn. I don't care if it's played in Tuscaloosa. I don't care if it's in the the Superdome. Don't matter. So with that said, Matt, you think Auburn can cover 14.5?
No way in hell. I don't know how you can come back from last week in New Mexico State. It's probably the worst loss in their football history, at least within the last 25 years. I don't know their history very well, but I don't know how you can get any worse than that. And no way. Alabama is a juggernaut right now. Jalen Milroe, if he would have had his first 3 games, he did anything of real good substance. He was okay, but he wasn't great. He would be at top 3 in the Heisman conversation because of what he's done the last 6 or 7 weeks. So they're a juggernaut. They're covering this. They're probably going to win. I'm going to say 21 plus here. And give me Bama.
Like Ryan last week. Mexico State getting your ass whooped. How 14.5? Alabama's rolling in this one. This is going to be they're going to beat down. Alabama right now, in my opinion, is probably the 4th best team in the country. And I don't know where I put up Michigan and Ohio State in that mix. Like, I don't know where I put either of them. But Oregon might be right there. Like, Washington's finding ways to win. SDR chimed in and said he thinks that Oregon's going to smash Washington in the Pac-12 championship game. And that might be the case. I think Bama might be a real problem for Georgia in a couple. They seem like they just all of a sudden have figured it out. And I think they're going to make a statement here. Milroe is doing all of it. He's completing 70% of his passes over his last 4 games. And he's still always a threat to run. And when he runs like a damn tank. So weird things in the Iron Bowl. I don't like doing it. I think it's a 2:30 game. I know I already went against my favorite thing, a home dog in prime time, by taking Mississippi, but give me Alabama minus points.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that leads to the game. So we got to go to OSU and Michigan in the Big
Michigan
House.
21-17. I have nothing to say.
Done.
Wow, 21. So they are going to cover. Okay. Pretty cool.
I don't know why. I don't know how. I think Harbaugh not being there on the sideline might hurt a little bit. I think Michigan's the better overall team. I get the better quarterback. I get the better defense. Slightly better defense, maybe. They certainly didn't look like it against Maryland.
So real quick, though, Kev, since you don't have much to say on the game, do you think both of these teams get into the playoff?
No, I think the loser doesn't make it. I think that there's the Oregon-Alabama thing that's staring – Oregon, Alabama, Washington, Florida State things that's staring in the face. I think Florida State could still beat Louisville without Jordan Travis. And I don't give a shit if Jordan Travis doesn't play. If they're undefeated, they're going to go over the lost team.
100%. How are you going to penalize him because he's out?
And if Oregon beats Washington, you're taking the Oregon team that just beat Washington, my opinion, over the one-loss team in the Big Ten because of the timeliness of the loss.
Okay. Yeah, and then whoever Michigan, and then Michigan. I guess it won't matter because the winner of Michigan and Ohio State's going to be undefeated, and they're going to beat up on Iowa, so that doesn't really
We beat
matter.
the dog piss out of Iowa.
Yeah. So, all right, Matt, what you say? What you got?
I'm going to take the Wolverines too, -3. Ever since this whole Spygate debacle came about, they've,
Always something with Harbaugh. I swear.
yeah, maybe, they've taken the approach of we're the victim here, and yeah, right.
America's team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all a joke. Don't get me wrong, but Harbaugh is a good coach in the way of how he motivates them and keeps that kind of chip on their shoulder. And all the things that Kev mentioned, plus you get the team that controls the ball better than anybody else in the country on offense, and they just wear
Least
you down.
penalized, fewest turnovers. They just don't. Yeah, they just don't hurt themselves.
They never do.
Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. They never do. They're going to control the ball the entire game, and they're going to, it's OSU's going to make a mistake or two, and it's going to be lights out. I'm not betting against the Wolverines at home here. I'm going to go. That's about right, but I'll say 17-13 or 20. I guess 16. But yeah, I mean they're covering.
And in Vegas, I'm not going to the window with this one. I'm just telling you, I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
I might look at the totals. I think Matt and I are probably both on unders. I think the over-under on this one's like 44.5 or something. I haven't looked at it, but it's not. I'm not going to the window with the side here. If I was going to do anything, it'd probably be a money line Michigan.
Yeah.
STR chimed in. What if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game? Then what, guys? Like, we have a whole world of things. Like, I wonder. I don't know. I think there's a chance both of them can get in.
There is, and I'm with you. I think they're a top 4 college football team right now. The way they're playing, I don't see too many teams beating them. Maybe Georgia. They're not beating Ohio State, or Ohio State's not beating them.
I don't think so either.
I don't think Michigan could beat them with their offense. Maybe, but with Michigan's defense. But
I don't know. I think Michigan's
Oregon?
good enough when they're healthy. They could definitely make a dent in there. So
yeah, but it'll be.
Hey Matt, and apologies to the fans. Obviously, this was a little bit rush show. Matt's traveling. I'm traveling. We're trying to put this thing together at last minute a little bit. Matt, did you happen to see a lock on the board that you like?
I haven't even looked, but I can do it real quick.
All right, I've got one I want to talk.
All right,
I'm gonna go with something I normally never do, and I'm gonna go with the double-digit favorite in the National Football League. Okay. The Commanders are terrible. You cannot stop Tommy DeVito or Justin Fields throwing the ball on you all day. What are you going to do against Dak Prescott and that offense and those weapons? And that Dallas defense is going to pick Sam Howell off. Bland might get another pick six. Dallas is rolling right now, and there's something special. They got a little bit of magic on Thursday. I think this is actually another one I want to leave that's kind of fun for the fans or anybody who's watching this tonight. I like Dallas minus the 10.5 against Washington on Thursday.
And you know what? A smart man.
Oh, and I like Nebraska minus 1.5 against Iowa.
A smart man picked the Cowboys double digits a week or two ago, I think.
You did, yes. I was going to say I'm following your lead, brother.
I got. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead, Matt. I know you probably got something.
I know. I'm looking. You can go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't really. I'll just throw it in here. I mean, I don't really make the picks. I'm just a your friendly neighborhood moderator. But I'll say, let's see here who we got. Who are the the Bears are on Monday night. That's right.
Against the Vikings.
Bears are on Monday night against the Vikings. There's not a spread for that yet. There's no way.
Normally with the NFL, it's probably waiting for injury reports to come out.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. I agree.
Minnesota 3.5.
I'm going to take Arizona minus 11.5 versus Arizona State.
Oh yeah,
I think their offense is going to score at least 35 plus in this game. Arizona State's been so bad. They're 3-8. They've got nothing to play for. Give me the
Arizona's got a
Wildcats.
potential Pac-12 championship game possibilities. It sounds like a New Year's Day, New Year's Six bowl. If not, I mean, like they are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
hell of a job by these guys.
Even though St. Dominic's Rosary's blowing the chat up, I think it might be short circuiting. But I gotta put Russ. I gotta get his comment in here because this is the final thought of the day from all three of us. I want to say this: we watches 3 college pick'em shows, us, US Bets, and Bear Bets, because he loves listening to Sammy P, who we've had on the show. You guys are awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Russ. You are definitely. And let's see, there was one other comment I wanted to get in here.
Shout out Russ. I haven't been able to see the comments all night, so thanks for posting.
I'm trying to put them in here. We get a lot. St. Thomas. Russ actually said nice seeing Matt on the show earlier too.
Nice.
So yeah, we like to have him out here once in a while. But anyway, with that saying, final thought is, what are we thankful for? So I'll start off, and Matt, I know you've got a lot to be thankful for this week. I can tell you that.
Yes.
And I don't need to tell you that either. So I know you're not an idiot. But I'm thankful for being able to do shows like this, Keepin Orange and Blue, Fade the Deuce, with good friends and guys that have really become good friends with. Matt, I didn't know you, but Kevin raved about you. So I'm glad that we've got to know each other and be able to put on things like this for fans that care, and just for my family, my children, but especially, the Illini Pro basketball doing good, and Thanksgiving game being meaningful. How about meaningful football? Football for Illinois? I'm thankful for that.
Unlike 2 years ago when I froze my tail off at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. So we're thankful for all the fans. I know that I am. So, Matt, we're going to let you go last.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So this is going to seem like a dichotomy, a trichotomy, however you want to look at it. But I know I swear a little bit. I know I like to drink some beer, and I know I talk about gambling lines, but I want to say that I'm very thankful for the love of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first and foremost.
Amen.
And that's
beautiful.
It's something that I'm trying to wear on my sleeve a little bit more because I'm not ashamed of it in any situation anyway. And I spent this weekend at a Christian camp being chaperoning high school boys. It was phenomenal. It was a great experience, and it puts everything into perspective. This is all just stuff that's fun for us. And to talk and argue about football, we're just arguing about entertainment, and the real things are real. And and Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because of the opportunity of thanks, but how else can you beat food, football, and family? Let's do it.
Amen, man.
Amen, yep. Well,
and I'll end with just being very thankful for my fiance and a wedding this Friday, and then a newborn baby boy coming in January. So I got a lot to be thankful for there, starting a family, and just all the things that go with that, and experiences, and being a dad for the first time. So I really can't wait. And so definitely thankful for that. And then my mom's going to be here this weekend for the wedding. So just being with her and enjoying that time, because I don't get to see her very much. And then I think lastly, just health, because I think a lot of people take health for granted. When you're sick, sometimes you, especially during the holidays, it's just, you might have a family member that might be sick, and, it might be the last holiday you spend with them, or you yourself are sick and you just don't feel like yourself anymore. Having my health and being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it is a very beautiful thing. And so enjoy it while you can, because it can be gone in, the next 24 hours. So I'll leave you with that.
Man, I guarantee people never thought they were going to get this deep and watching Keepin Orange and Blue. You guys just went to church, and you just sprinkle it on them. And I love how when all that's going on, Sean Garner, he never changed. Sean Garner, all he cares about. This is what he's been saying the whole chat. Illinois should be ranked. It's like Kevin's talking about, going to the church, the Christian camp, and this is Sean Garner. Illinois should be ranked.
Hey,
God love it.
I'll tell you one thing. Maybe they should be, but what with
I like that they're not.
with these AP polls and stuff, half these writers don't even watch the games. I'm here to tell you. Two, some have other people fill out their rankings for them. And then three, because they don't watch it, they just look at box scores. And so you're not going to get a consistent poll until about a month and a half into the season. And
I would love that. Hey, could you give this to my son? Just fill that out for me. Yeah, just circle in the names. Yeah, that's fine.
It trust me, it happens. And
the coaches do it too, because the coaches ain't got no time for that.
I will tell you, as a director of ops, I'm not going to name names, but I was the designated poll
filler outer
down.
Yeah.
During one season.
You don't have to name any names, but we know you've only been on 2 staffs. So
no, this was I'll just say it was the top 25 mid-major poll.
UT Martin. Okay.
Yeah, because you know
Martin, I've been at Southern Illinois, I've been at Northern Illinois. So
okay.
Dude, it's silly, because just like Matt said, you think Tom Izzo is worried about whether Illinois is ranked or not? He's worried about the next freaking game, dude. He's worried about the scouting report on Abilene Christian or Alcorn State or whoever, and they're worried about that. And you know what? Hey, by the way, guys, tipping off right now, UCLA Marquette, best time of the year, man. Let's go.
That's right. So, and what's amazing and fun about this, and this is Swami signing out, is I've been a dad since I've been 21, and now you are, Matt, what, almost 40?
I'm 41.
41, and you're just now starting. Let me tell you, your life is about to change even bigger than you thought, because I'll never be a D1 assistant, but let me tell you, I've been a dad, and it's the greatest thing you'll ever have. So,
that's awesome.
Dude, nothing better, dude.
Okay, I can't
all right,
wait.
bro. Hey, congrats. I wish I could be there, take some pics, something.
We will. We got them.
Well, we're going to post them on the next Fade the Deuce.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, as much as you can, when you go through this experience, it feels like an out of body. Just try and take a deep breath and just live in the moment as much as you possibly can with your wedding. And God bless you, man. Kudos to you and your family. And you got big things in store for you, my brother.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate all.
And we'll probably look at possibly doing a championship game picks or something like that. But Fade the Deuce is probably going to go on hiatus for a little bit until maybe we get into Big Ten basketball season. See if Matt wants to come pick a game a week or something with us. We'll see what we do.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, if you're down, we can maybe do a championship weekend if you're good. But if not, we can wait till after the new year.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, we'll talk soon, man. God bless.
Okay.
Out.
ILL.
I and I.